Hello everyone. In today's session we are going to do chapter 2, Children at Work, from your supplementary reader, It So Happened. This chapter, Children at Work, has been taken from the book Trash on ragpicker children and recycling. This book is written by 3 authors, Geeta Wolf, Anushka Ravishankar and Arijit Singh. This book talks basically about those children who have to work instead of going to school, who remain uneducated because of their poverty. And have you ever wondered what could be the reasons why they have to work? It's because their parents cannot afford their education. Some help their family to earn their livelihood, while others run away from their unhappy home and have to support themselves on their own. Now, this is a serious problem of our society. Because when children work at such a tender age, they lose their childhood, they lose their prime time of development. So what can we do as an individual? We can support them as much as we can. After reading this chapter, you will realize how grave this problem is amongst these poor children. This chapter is all about a boy, Velu, who has run away from his village home because his father misbehaved with him. He used to beat him and take away all his money. And he runs away and comes to Chennai, where he meets a girl named Jaya. Jaya is a poor girl and is a rag picker. She supports him by providing him some food and motivates him to work the way she does. In a way, she tries to explain him that living in that city without any job or food or shelter will be absolutely impossible for him. Well, Velu is not very happy with this job of rag picking. But he accepts this because there is no other way out. So today I'm going to read this chapter out for you and explain it part by part. And at the end of this session, I will display the question answers for you. So let's start with the session today. Let's know something about the authors of this chapter first. Geeta Wolf Sampath was born on 6 December 1956. She is an Indian publisher and author. She has written educational books and picture books of folk tales. Anushka Ravishankar, born in 1961, is an award-winning author of children's books and co-founder of Duckbill Books, a publishing house. Arijit Singh, born in 1963, is an Indian graphic artist, designer and professor. His graphic novel River of Stories is considered the first graphic novel of India. Velu, an 11-year-old boy, runs away from home. He wanders around for hours. Wanders means roams, before getting on a train to Chennai without a ticket. Tired and hungry, he doesn't know where to go when a stranger at the station shouts a word of welcome. When the Kanyakumari Express pulled in at Chennai Central, pulled in means arrived. It took Velu some time to get off. When he finally stood on the platform, his legs felt wobbly. Wobbly means unsteady, as if he was still on a moving train. "Oi, out of the way," A porter went by with a loaded trolley. Porter is a person who carries luggage. Velu jumped aside. He sat on a bench on the platform, putting his small bundle down. In all his 11 years, he had never seen so many people, except once a year at the fair in his village. People walked by, bumping into him. Bumping means hitting, with their suitcases. A voice announced something on a loudspeaker. Near him, a group of people sat on their luggage, looking at a TV hanging from the roof. The noise was terrible. Velu put his head down on his knees, feeling miserable and exhausted. Miserable means sad. Exhausted means tired. He had run away from his village 2 days ago. For 2 days he had eaten nothing but some peanuts and a piece of jaggery. In his bundle he carried a shirt, a towel, and a comb. He had walked for most of the first day to Kannur and then got on the train to Chennai. Velu had no money for a ticket, but luckily the ticket collector didn't come to the unreserved compartment. He had tried to sleep on the floor near the door. A group of men next to him had played cards and shouted all night. "Hey, what? New to town, eh?" called out a rough voice. Velu opened his eyes. There were a lot of people standing around, but nobody was looking at him. "Here, hey!" He turned around. Behind him was a girl around his own age, wearing a long banyan that came down to her knees. Her hair was stiff and brownish, and she had a huge sack on one shoulder. She was picking up dirty plastic cups from the floor and stuffing them into her sack. Stuffing means filling. "Why is she calling me?" thought Velu. "And why is she wearing a banyan? No need to stare stupidly. What's your name?" "Velu," muttered Velu, looking away. "So, Mr. Velu," said the girl, looking at his bundle, "run away from home?" Velu didn't answer. He didn't want to tell some strange girl what he had done. He had run away because he couldn't stand his father beating him for one more day. Stand means tolerate. His father would snatch away all the money. Snatch means take forcefully. Velu and his sisters earned and spent it on drink. "Don't think I don't know. This place is full of children like you. So what are you going to do here? Become rich?" She sat down next to him. Velu shifted away slightly. He felt hunger pinching him and pressed his stomach with a grimace. Grimace is a twisted expression on the face due to pain. "Hungry?" asked the girl. "You won't get food by sitting here glumly." Glumly means sadly, making faces. "I can find some if you want." She picked up her sack and started to walk away. Velu stayed on the bench. What should he do? Should he follow this girl? Where was she going to take him? She was disappearing in the crowd, so he had to make up his mind quickly. "All right," he decided. "Anyway, I have no idea where to go." He jumped up and ran after her. She wasn't even looking back to see where he was. Velu was an 11-year-old boy who had run away from home. He used to live in a village and he had got onto a train to Chennai without even a ticket. But he was fortunate that the ticket checker did not come to his compartment. He slept on the floor of train, and when next day the train reached Chennai, he got onto the platform and was surprised to see so many people around him. He had never seen such a crowd before in his life. He sat on the bench, sadly, hungry and tired. And just then, someone called out to him, "Hey!" He looked around to see who had called out. It was a poor girl who wore a banyan and she had a sack on her back. She was picking up something. In other words, she was a rag picker. She tried to be friendly with Velu, but Velu did not want to be friends with any stranger, so he did not answer her at first. She guessed it right that he had run away from his home. When she tried to ask him why he had left or run away from home, he did not want to tell that his father used to beat him and his sister and take away all the money that they used to earn by working in a farm. That was the sad story of Velu. But now Velu is in Chennai and he has no one to help. Now this girl offers him that if he doesn't move and if he doesn't work, then he is not going to get any food. And then after that, she disappeared in the crowd. Now Velu had the suspicion that if this girl disappears, how is he going to live in this big city? So he started chasing her to find her out because he thought that if this girl helps him, he might get something to eat and some earning for the day. Let's see what happens in part 2. Velu follows his friend through the crowded streets to a big building. Behind the building, there's a big garbage bin. Velu wonders why they are there at all. He caught up with the girl. Caught up means met. As she was leaving the station. When they got to the road, Velu found that the vehicles kept coming and never stopped for anyone. Smoke and dust flew at him from all the sides, making his head spin. The phrase making his head spin means giving him a headache or making him feel dizzy. They had to wait for a long time before they could find a gap to run through. Velu kept hesitating. Hesitating means delaying. And the girl finally dragged him to the other side. What do you think you are doing? Grazing cows? If you stand around in the middle of the road like that, you will be chutney. Chutney here means run over or killed. Velu's heart was still beating fast. He looked back at Central Station and the traffic speeding by. How had they managed to come through that? They walked along the side of the road under some huge signboards. Velu looked up at the pictures. Banyans, car tires, pens, a woman holding a box. The writing was all in English, so he didn't know what it meant. The girl turned onto a wide bridge and walked up. Velu stopped and peeped over the railing. Peeped means looked quickly. Under him, the road ran into the city. In the distance, he could see huge buildings and towers and more roads. See that building with a wall around it? If you're not careful, you'll soon be counting bars there. The phrase counting bars means jailed. The girl grinned. Grinned means smiled and pointed at a huge building. Velu squinted and read the Tamil sign, Central Jail. Why? I haven't done anything wrong. You don't have to do anything. Just don't get caught. That's all. What does she mean? Velu wondered. Meanwhile, the girl was already heading down the bridge with a sack on her shoulder. What was in it? He had seen her putting plastic cups into it at the station. What are you carrying in that bag? Things, bottles, paper. Velu wondered what she was doing with them, but he felt shy to ask any more questions. It was still morning, but the sun blasted down on the tar. Blasted down means exploded. And Velu's bare feet burned. It was not like walking on a mud road. He was soaked with sweat. He tried hard to walk in the shade and keep up with the girl at the same time. She walked really fast. How far away was the food? After almost an hour of walking, they stopped in front of a big building. Shri Raj Rajeshwari Prasanna Kalyan Mandapam, read Velu slowly. A sign with letters made of flowers said Groom J.V. Vinayagan, Bride Rani. Velu stared at the big cars parked outside. One of the cars had a flower garland and roses taped onto it. The girl looked around, pulled one off quickly, and stuck it in her hair. Come on, she said. Are we going to eat here? Asked Velu, looking at the huge hall and the people inside. Hopes, said the girl, shaking her thumb under his nose. She led him behind the hall. There was a big garbage bin overflowing with rubbish. Two goats were standing on the pile, fighting for a banana leaf. A cloud of flies buzzed around their legs. There was a rotten smell in the air. The girl picked up a squashy banana. Squashy means crushed, and held it out to Velu. Here's your food. Velu was shocked. Are we going to eat their leftovers? Cheh! What do you think I am? A dog? I only take untouched food. Here, some more. Catch. She threw him a vada. Velu looked at it with distaste. Distaste means dislike. Come on, hero, eat it. You think I like it? I told you I'll find you something to eat. Don't think I have money to buy food for you. You'd better eat what you get until you have your own money. Velu hesitated, but his stomach squeezed him again. Stomach squeezed him means he was very hungry. He gulped down the banana. Gulped down means swallowed quickly without chewing. And vada. His stomach felt better immediately. He could have eaten at least 10 times more. But the girl could find only one more banana, which she ate herself. It's too early. They have only eaten tiffin. Tiffin means a snack, not a proper meal. If you're still hungry, you'll have to wait for them to finish lunch. You can wait if you want. I have to work. I'm going. She picked up a couple of bottles from the heap and threw it in her sack. Then she walked off. Velu panicked. Panicked means he was very worried. He realized that if the girl left him, he had no idea where he was and what to do. It was better to stick to her. She seemed to know her way around. He ran after her again. Hey, he called. He did not even know the girl's name. Hey, what is your name? He asked, hurrying behind her. She stopped and turned around. Oh ho, so you've been following me around without even knowing my name. Jaya. I'm not following you. What then? Who got you food? Can I come with you? Where are you going? Come if you want. This bag is full. I have to go home to get another one. After making up the mind, Velu followed the girl and they both left the station and came into a crowded street. The street was full of vehicles. Velu was first of all afraid to cross that road, but Jaya grabbed his hand and pulled him across the street. They walked on the tar road. All Velu could see was big signboards, big shops, crowded streets, traffic on the road. Everything was very new for Velu. They both walked on the tar road. Velu didn't wear his slippers, so his feet really burnt on the hot road. After crossing a bridge, the girl showed Velu a big building and she explained that it was a jail. So if he did anything wrong, he could be put behind the bars or will be jailed. But Velu did not understand what she was talking about. And then he looked at the bag which she was carrying on her back. It was a sack. So when he inquired what was in it, she answered that it has bottles, plastic, and things of waste. Velu was really hungry and he wanted to eat something, but both of them didn't have any money to buy the food. So they went near a hall where a marriage was in progress. They saw a big garbage. The girl went into that garbage pit and dug out two squashy bananas and a vada. She gave Velu one banana and vada, and one she had it herself. Well, Velu did not like to get things from a garbage bin, but what could he do? He ate that much of food and he felt a little relieved. He was so hungry that he could have eaten 10 times more than that. But what could be done? He was helpless. And then he asked the girl her name. She told him that her name was Jaya. Velu thought that if he left the company of this girl, then he'll be lost in that city and wouldn't know what to do. So he thought of sticking to her and doing the same kind of work that she was doing. Jaya invited him to her house to change the bag because the bag was full. Now in the next part, we'll see where do they go and what do they do next. There is a row of huts near some dirty puddles. Outside one of the huts, Jaya dumps her sack. Grateful to his friend, Velu thinks of the days ahead. Jaya and Velu walked along the roads for half an hour until they came to a bridge across a dirty trickle of water. We are in Triplicane now. See, that's Buckingham Canal, said Jaya. Velu stared. This was a canal? Near some puddles of water, puddle means a small pool, was a row of the strangest huts he had ever seen. They were built out of all sort of things: metal sheets, tires, bricks, wood and plastic. They stood crookedly. Crookedly means not straight, and looked as if they would fall any moment. Is this where you live? These houses are strange, said Velu. In our village, the houses are made of mud and palm leaves. Jaya went around to one of the huts and dumped her sack outside. Then she picked up an empty one. Let's go. She turned to Velu and gave him a shove. Shove means push. At least help me now. Here, wear these and come with me. She threw him a pair of old shoes without laces and pushed a sack and a stick into his hands. Velu was confused. What work did she want him to do with these things? The only work he had ever done was on the landowner's farm, weeding and taking cows out to graze. Weeding means working in a field, removing grass or digging, etc. Are there any farms in the city? He asked Jaya. She laughed and thumped her stick on the ground. Thumped means hit. Farms? There are no farmers here. We are ragpickers. Ragpicker is a person who collects and sells rags. Ragpickers? See my sack full of things I collected? Collected? From where? Asked Velu. From rubbish bins. Where else? Rubbish bins means dustbins. You collect rubbish? Velu had never heard of such a thing. Hey, blockhead. Blockhead means fool. It's not any rubbish. Only paper, plastic, glass, such things. We sell it to Jam Bazaar, Jaggu. Velu was puzzled. He had heard of people throwing away rubbish. But why would anyone want to buy rubbish? Who's Jam Bazaar Jaggu? Why is he buying all this? You think he buys it for show? He sells it to a factory. Come on, I don't have time to waste like you. Velu did not move. He hadn't run away and come to this new place to dig through garbage bins. Jaya poked at him with her stick. Look here, she shouted. If someone gets there before us, we don't get anything. Don't just stand there posing. Posing means looking important, hoping to impress others. Big hero, I am trying to help you. Who filled your stomach today? Velu scratched his head and sighed. I'll do it for now, he thought, until I find a better job. Velu and Jaya started walking towards Jaya's home. They walked along the road for about half an hour and then they came to a small canal. Beside the canal, there was a row of the strangest huts that he had ever seen. Why strange? Because these huts were made up of all waste materials like the metal sheets, tires, bricks, wood and plastic. Jaya kept the bag on the ground and she picked up an empty sack from there. She gave one sack to Velu also. Velu didn't know what to do with it because till now all he had done was worked on a landowner's farm, grazed cows and weeded the grass. But this job was something which he didn't like, and this job was of rag picking. But what could he do? He was helpless. He had nothing else to look forward to. So he had to follow Jaya and listen to whatever she told him. Jaya explained the nature of her work. She used to collect all these waste things and give it to a person named Jaggu. This Jaggu used to buy these things, give her a little amount of money and send it to factory for recycling. But Velu had different thoughts going inside his mind. He had not run away from the house just to pick up the rags or the waste material. He had run away to the city to avoid his father's beating. But this cannot be his destiny that he'll rag pick for his entire lifetime. But at the end of the story, Velu decides that till the time he gets a more respectable job, he will do this since there was no other way out. So after reading this story, what comes to your mind? Do you think these children are happy to work like this? Do you think they really want to skip their education and rag pick or work at hotels or beg at the signals? No, they are not. But it's their destiny. Since they belong to a poor family, their parents cannot afford even basic education for them. So now we can only hope that coming times be better for them and provide them with greater opportunities than they can even think of. They too deserve a happy childhood like you and me. The answers of comprehension check questions will be flashed in front of you on the screen. You may note them down or go through them as per your convenience. So for now, I'm signing off from this session. See you in my next session with a new chapter. Till then, take good care of yourself. Bye.